We are backstage with Rob Thomas.
So rock and roll.
In your dressing room.
Yeah, I know.
Which, by the way, I just want to say your catering rider is way better than mine.
Really?
Yeah.
Rolled up meat and...
Rolled up meat. But like, you know, lots of beer. Lots of fruit, too.
Yeah, I mean, that's because I have to have all this healthy over here to undo all the unhealthy I'm doing over here. I like to get all my calories from alcohol the way God intended.
Do you eat before the show?
I eat at like 6. I gotta have like a 3-hour window. So if I get like 3 hours, it's good. But I have to eat something, or else I get like that empty stomach, pit of your stomach feeling.
What about? Do you have the after the tour bus munchie issue?
I do, but I try to stay away from it.
It's hard.
It really is, man. But then I find out, like, if I don't order like a nice grilled chicken or something healthy, I'm gonna get on the bus, and at about 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm gonna start going through chips and all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? So now I try and have like a nice healthy option there.
I've started going right to the bunk, trying to force myself to go right to the bunk, because then, you know, but then I get up, go to the bathroom, have a snack, and then everybody else is hanging.
It's all right there.
You want to do it too.
I'm on the bus this run with it's me and my wife and our dogs. And so like when you get on, then like I haven't seen her, you know, in a while. Like sometimes if she doesn't come into the show and we haven't been hanging out, and so that's like kind of our hang time.
Yeah.
So we're sitting up, and then we're driving down the road. We have a little bit of wine, and then we maybe have a little cheese, you know. And I'm like, I'm not going to eat anything. And then
Congratulations, by the way. I know you just celebrated 21 years. I saw that on one of your socials.
It was 21 years. We're having our 20th wedding anniversary in October this year, and then that was 21 years from like our first date, our first real date.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I think after 20 years, though, then I don't know if I'm still required to have to remember the date of our first date.
I think so. It helps.
I think as long as she remembers it, I have to remember it. That's the secret of a good marriage. Whatever she remembers, I have to remember as well.
This is a big tour, and this is only like the third or fourth date, right?
Third show, yeah.
Yeah, and I read a review that at least somebody loved it.
Yeah. I mean, it's so far it's been like we only played. So this band that I have is the same band since 2005. Whenever I go solo, it's the same band with the exception of 2 new people. But the core of the band. And so we like 2 summers ago, I toured with Matchbox. Then I took all of last year off and made this record. And then we played like 2 shows with no rehearsal. We just played like in 2 shows in California for my foundation. And they went really, really well. And then we got this up and running, and it's just like from show 1. I think that's the thing of like not having a bunch of hired people, but like really being with your family that you know, like everybody just kind of steps right back into it.
That's so important, because you live with these people for months.
Yeah.
And this is a big tour.
Band and crew. I mean, I think, you know, you want everybody to be as happy as they possibly can. So we always get people from within, you know, like almost everyone that works with us either came from another tour that we were really close with them, or you know, when somebody else leaves, we bring up somebody from below.
So you were saying that you took a year off to make the record. And when you say took the year off, is it just like, is it chill out time and writing? Do you take breaks from writing?
No, the writing happens in like all the time. The writing was happening. Like I was out on the road for like 4 summers and some beyond up until that year. So I really took off because I don't know if I could stay married if I went out one more tour. Like I needed to be home for a minute.
Yeah.
And but all of those tours and all that time, I was always writing. You know what I mean? Like it's always about like it's just about like it's about volume. You know, like it's not such a feat to think about one good record if you wrote 5 records to get to that process, and then that means you got 4 records of you don't want anyone to hear to make those 12 songs. You know.
Well, plus conceptually, you want to see what of those has the common thread that brings them all together, and what the tone and the concept is.
Yeah, it also, like when I started working with Butch on this, after we got like, I had him come in and just start sifting through all the demos and every song that I've been writing to let him decide kind of like what the narrative of this record was going to be, because I was too close to everything. You know, I'm like, well, I like this for this reason. I like this for this reason. But he came in, you know, with a fresh pair of ears and was just like, okay, I think this is special to me. This is special to me. This is special to me. And, you know, you never know. Like, you make another record, him and I might come back on the next time we do something and be like, oh, you know, I don't know why we overlooked this one. Let's, you know, and maybe we overlooked it because it didn't fit some weird arbitrary aesthetic that we had figured out for this record, you know? Like, we got 2 songs in, things started to sound kind of like 80s pop. And so we just started leaning into like that and started like, we wanted to add like very uncool you know what I mean? Like when I say uncool, I mean the coolest of the uncool. Like we wanted the pad from Foreigners, I Want to Know What Love Is, and Cutting Crew guitars, you know what I mean? And things like that.
Well, and also you can save that for the next time, you know?
I mean, next time I'm going to want something different, and maybe one of those songs will be that, you know?
And so for the record, the single, this song, it's really a great song. Thanks. And I feel like it, you know, a lot of your, I would say, contemporaries, I find that at a certain age, after 20 years of doing it, right, you get to this point where you know, different things are important to you. Yeah. You think, what do I want to do, you know, with the rest of my life, and this kind of thing. And I find this is a common thread with when I talk to my friends. Like I was talking to Steve Perry about this. I was talking to John Andrasik about this. You know, these are guys. I was talking to Pat Monahan about it, and it's a common thing to have all this success, and then to think about what do I want to say. And I feel like, you know, the single One Less Day is a little bit reflective of that time.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, if you're writing about the things that you know and the things that, you know, kind of inform your life, it's completely different at 47 than it is at 37 and 27. You know, like at 27, it was all speculation. It was all like songs about love and loss, but I really didn't know what that meant. So I was probably just informed by other songs that I had heard and books that I'd read and movies that I'd seen, you know. Then I shoot forward in 47, and I've got a son, and I've got you know, family members, and I've whittled down, you know, the just a parade of people that are around you all the time to really just a core group of people that you really love and care about. You know, you've lost some friends at this point. You know, you've lost some friends that are your own age, not just people you expected, but you've had some unexpected losses in your life.
Yeah.
Those things start to inform, you know, and they don't always, you know, it's not always like, sometimes you're like, you know, people will handle things differently. Like somebody could lose a friend and they'll be like, you know, man, I really need to get my act together. You know, I need to really just straighten up and fly right. And then some of us are like, man, that could be me. I just need to get it all in right now. You know,
that's why
shove it all down.
I was asking about the time off, because I know that a lot of times people will say, well, I feel like, you know, there's a fear that I'm not, you know, I'm running out of time to do all the things that I really want to do. But balance is really important. You know, what I love about the song, other than the message, is it's sort of, it kind of has a gospel. Was that kind of the intention?
Yeah, almost like gospel country in a way.
Exactly.
Like when we do it acoustically, it sounds like a
country song.
Sweet little country song.
That was exactly my first impression, and it's also like classic songwriting. If you were teaching a class in how to write a song, because it starts with the chorus, establish the chorus, go.
Yeah, I felt like that was really big for me. I was like, I'm going to start with the chorus. That's, you know,
for sure.
Look at that.
These days, you got to, right?
Yeah, that's a weird thing, like, too, because, you know, it's one of the things you do, too, is as you start to get older and you realize that whether you want to or not, in some ways you're competing with 20-year-old kids out there.
Yeah.
Because they're making new ones of you every minute, and they're coming up, and they're good, you know?
And you're competing with yourself.
And you're competing with yourself and your past. It's like a ghost of you that you're next to at all times, and you're trying to outrun that ghost, you know, or at least keep up with it. And I find that as it becomes more important for me to, like, if this makes sense, to write a song that I feel like should be on the radio, but doesn't sound like the song that's going to play before or after it. Like something that's making its own space, but I still feel like people should hear it, but not because it sounds like everything I'm listening to on the radio, but sometimes the opposite.
Right.
You know, like to make your own little space.
Pressure to go, when are you going to write the next, you know, Smooth? Or when are you going to, when is it going to be the, you know, Unwell? And, you know, I mean, you get that from.
We were really, I think, really, we had a good sense of ourselves, and by the end of the first Matchbox record, when that was done, and we were out for like 3 years on that, you know, and that was like everything kind of happened during the life of that record. Like we started off playing to nobody, and then, you know, we ended in arenas by the end of that 3 years, and so as soon as that was over, Atlantic Records was like, listen, you got to get back in, and you got to hit this and make another record, and we'd seen this play out before. And we'd seen bands try and get that other song back on the charts before their other songs are, you know, while their other songs are still like annoying people at this point because they've been played so much. So we went away for like a good 6 months before we even set foot in the studio, and we're like, we're just going to stop, because if we make a good record, it'll be a good record. And if we don't, momentum's not going to make it good. You know, I mean, it'll be like a false illusion or a false horizon at some point, because you'll come out and because you had the success, they'll play it and it'll get the, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But you won't know if it's any good, and it won't be any good because you didn't take time to sit down and write a record. You just rushed product out to
because
get
is
out
it
there.
hype or is it authenticity?
Yeah, so I've gotten really good at just not caring if I go away for a while. You know what I mean? Like,
but
and just being like, well, if it comes back, if you're lucky, you'll take another ride, you know, on the machine, and you get really a chance to play, you know, to play the game. And then if the worst case scenario, after 20 years, you've got an initiated group of people that will care about what you have to say, and you'll play for them.
Absolutely.
You know?
Well, you have the core. And I think, you know, talking about songwriting, because I do a lot of stuff with the Grammy Foundation, you know, talking to young songwriters and things like that. And when I think about some of, let's take Smooth, for example. When you hear a new song like Havana, right? You go, oh, that, I mean, it's not derivative, but it's influenced.
No, well, it's not derivative of Smooth, because Smooth is derivative of a classic kind
but
of like.
People don't know that.
Yeah, I got like so many people that were like, you know, when Havana came out, and they're like, man, did you get paid for that? And I was like, well, I don't know. Did the Buena Vista Social Club get paid when I did Smooth? Because this is like literally, this is like Latin Jam 101.
Exactly,
you know?
the chord, right?
Yeah.
Or Despacito, or, you know, any of that.
Like any of those things. I mean, it's really amazing to me. Like, you know, Mark Anthony like had a good hybrid. It was kind of pop music with a Latin flair. It's amazing to me that songs like Despacito are songs like Smooth, that are kind of very traditional Latin vibe.
Very.
Like when they make it on the radio, I think that's really cool, you know?
But because of the pop vocal,
Yeah.
it makes it seem relevant. It's
And
like
that's what Carlos wanted, because, you know, Carlos, when he was doing it, it wasn't Carlos with a smooth, sexy Latin singer. It was always Carlos and some kind of a rock pop singer. That was what he always did. So that's why I think him and I gelled so well together, and why him and I are still friends to this day. Like we have a couple shows lined up. He's going to come out to the Greek and see us, and I'm going to come out and see him in Phoenix, and you know, and we've been sending each other, you know, our record as we've been making it, sending each other songs and
That's
stuff.
awesome.
And I mean, I think our friendship is really endured.
Do you like live performing?
It's everything.
You're really good, and that matters these days. You know, there are a lot of, with the culture of the TV shows that turn out, you know, quote unquote, I don't even say stars, you know, talent shows or whatever, where there's no discussion of how to be a performer.
Yeah, and if it is, it's very schlocky.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
gesturing for no reason
choreography,
or whatever.
yeah, and you got to look at the camera, and you got to be, you know,
chest pound.
You got to
for
do
no reason.
yeah, you got to do all that. So like, you got to, you know, emote now. This is where it comes. You know what I mean?
When even if the word or lyric doesn't have anything to do with it. So I noticed in your live performing, the relationship is such a one-on-one, which is a real talent. You either have it or you don't, I think.
I think the whole show is about ripping down this idea that it's us playing for people, right? It's about turning it into a night that everybody feels like they're a part of, and everybody feels like they're a part of this moment together.
Yep.
And everybody in that room, the room just gets smaller and smaller and smaller, and we all feel like we're celebrating the band, the crowd. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean,
I do.
You're like, you want to be like, this music is like a part of people's Saturday nights and a part of their Sunday mornings, and it's a part of their weddings and their funerals and a part of their breakups and their, you know, their love making. You know what I mean? Like it's all in there. And so like you want to bring that all to them at that moment and let them know that you're there with them. And I think my whole band is really good at that. Matchbox has always been good at that. I think it's something. I think it's also like Carlos always tells me, it's gratitude.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like being truly, you know, not putting on the idea that you are unbelievably grateful that these people would let you be that in their lives, and that they would come and give, you know, to spend their time, which you don't get back. That's the most valuable thing. Take your time and spend it to come hang out and watch you play.
Get the babysitter, pay for dinner, pay for the ticket.
When at the end of the day, I'm just indulging myself in front of strangers. You know?
But it's
like Eric Idle said once, it's like I'm there to get that extra special hug that you can only get from strangers.
Yeah. It's true. I mean, it's addicting.
It is, man. It is. And it's narcissism at its highest. I mean, it is, because there's an idea that I believe in my heart that other people that I don't know should care about what I have to say.
But not if you write it with the intention of sharing. That I don't think, it's not like a museum. They're not coming to you perform at them. You're
that's
performing
the hope.
with them.
Yeah.
And so I think the music, because it makes that personal connection, and because you are invited to, a couple will have you at their wedding, just the three of you, or in a romantic moment, just the three of you.
Just a little threesome with these two in my voice.
Right.
Yeah.
But
oh my God, how many babies got made to Barry White? I mean, come on.
How many kids are their name Rob? Seriously, right now.
Well, I mean, actually a lot. I mean, it's a pretty common
just
name.
By coincidence, right? Well, I wish you the best with the tour.
Man, thank you. Thank you guys for coming out and doing this.
Absolutely.
It's really nice of you to help me out.
It's good. It's good to see you, and I'm thrilled that we get a chance to finally meet up.
Yeah, for sure. We have a lot of mutual friends. It's so funny.
Do, and people love what you do, so you got to keep doing it. And you're really an inspiration for songwriters, for up and coming with the right attitude. You really
Thanks,
it
man.
makes
I appreciate
a difference.
that. I appreciate that.
It's a lot of people want to be rock stars, and they don't know what it's really like to be one.
Yeah, I don't like the term celebrity. I always tell people like I'm not a celebrity because I work for a living. Like my job, I'm a songwriter, and then I perform those songs.
Yep.
And that's kind of the core of what I do. Everything else is whatever perception you put on somebody else. Like
yes.
Slash is a rock star. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's the
persona
rock star,
and all.
Yeah, he's
right.
the whole thing. Like I literally was just on my bus cooking for my dogs.
Yeah.
That's my rock star life I've got going on.
But it's hard. The tour life is, especially as a singer.
Yeah.
You got to keep it in check.
It's a lot more going to bed earlier than your guitar players have to.
Well, congratulations on the new song. We're going to be playing it like crazy because it really is inspirational.
Thanks,
and it really is special. Good time in your life, and I wish you the best on the tour.
Thanks, brother. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Thanks, man.
We're with Rob
Right on.
Thomas and the Jim Brickman Show.